What's up, everyone? Alex Rossman here, and welcome to Rossman Radio, the social first podcast where founders and industry leaders stop pretending everything's amazing and they tell the real stories, the wins, the failures, the why did I even start this moments, all of it. Most importantly, we break down the marketing strategies that are actually working for them today, not the ones some guru made up in a hotel conference room in 2016. So if you want real-world growth strategies told by the ones who have scaled multi-million-dollar brands, just listen.
Welcome back to Rossman Radio. This is Elise, and I'm here with Julie Garber and Amy Zitelman from Soom Foods. And we're going to talk about everything that they're doing right now online that's working for their business, some things that have been challenging this year, and what 2026 looks like. So welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, this brand has definitely been quite the story. Do you guys want to start by sharing how you ended up here?
Sure. So I'll get started. My name's Amy, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Soom Foods. My sisters and I started the business really as an idea in 2011 with a mission to make tahini a more popular ingredient in the American market. So Elise, how much are you familiar with tahini?
Very. I will say my favorite food influencer, Baked by Melissa, is obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And she turned me on to it. And so I use it pretty much in everything now.
That's amazing, and a great kind of window into probably a lot that we'll talk about today, the influence that digital has had on tahini's growth. But back in 2011, or when we actually launched in 2013, most people had no idea what tahini was. If they did, you could only find it on the bottom shelf of the international aisle in your local grocery store or in a co-op, a granola co-op. And if they happened to buy it, they couldn't name the brand name, and they primarily only used it for hummus. So Elise, Baked by Melissa, is showing us that we can use it for a lot more than hummus.
Brownies, pancakes, you name it.
You got it. Soups, salad dressings, man, the list really goes on. And so, yeah, that's what we set out to do. Slowly, retail account, restaurant, Amazon, strategy by strategy, just set out to make tahini a more popular ingredient in the American market. Julie joined us as an intern at Temple University when I was practically still in college. The company was just a few years old, and she's been with us for 9 years, leading our marketing and very involved in our digital marketing. So I'll let Julie jump in too.
Sure. And it's actually funny because at the time when I first started my internship, I hated tahini. I didn't really understand its use cases beyond it being like a sauce for falafel or being incorporated into hummus. And then, once I applied for the internship, I tried it and I really understood, wow, like tahini or Soom tahini is so much more superior than any other tahini I've tried. And I really understood the different like versatile use cases that, really enhance how good tahini can be and how good recipes can be.
That's awesome. I could not agree more. I literally used to let me back up. I am an avid cooker. I love to cook. So I like making things from scratch. And when I first used it, it was when I was making hummus, right? I'm sure that's like how everyone discovers tahini, unless you were brought up with it, at your dinner table. So when you guys talk about like wanting to bring the education out there, it is one of the most versatile, I don't even know what you would call it, like a paste, like versatile,
like ingredient almost
that you can use, and it's so nutrient dense. So I'm excited to hear more about that, and also just how the influence and how the upbringing of this has impacted the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the unique things about Soom is that our foundation is in selling to restaurants. So we really got our footing selling to restaurants. We really built our brand credibility based on the influence and the trust of some of the best award-winning chefs across the country. And since it was hard for us to get into grocery stores, it was really hard for us also to kind of carve our way on our own D2C or direct-to-consumer website. We also invested very early on in Amazon. I think we launched on Amazon in 2016, Julie?
Yep. That's correct.
And so that flywheel effect of influencer and digital and Amazon in particular has been really instrumental in our story. So we're excited to talk more about that, especially because we stopped selling on our own website at the end of 2023. So there's been a lot of different ways that we've sold to customers, but selling direct to consumer from our own website is not one of them now. But our digital strategy is still really comprehensive in supporting Amazon, our other third-party e-commerce sites, and of course, the sales in grocery stores that we're in now.
Exactly. And kind of to jump in on that, like education is definitely the foundation to inspiring, the purchase of tahini. So for us, we invest a lot into recipe creation and just UGC content to really showcase the nutritious, delicious, and versatile aspects of tahini. But what we also found through recipe development is that, of course, in the very beginning days, we would take a look through some of the most popular recipes on like Bon Appetit, or even maybe like Ambitious Kitchen, who's an incredible food blogger. And we would then, draw some inspiration from there. But what we've noticed is that, yes, there are some really incredible recipes out there that might be a little bit more intermediate or challenging. People just really want to use it on a daily basis, and they want to understand how it can improve their lives. So we really had to, I don't want to say like dumb down, but we had to make our recipes a lot more approachable so that tahini would be an ingredient that they would use on either a daily basis or a weekly basis, whether in recipes that they'll feed their families, or that, our target audience will use themselves, whether in like a smoothie or a salad dressing, or even their weekly batch of hummus.
Yeah, that's interesting. So how have you guys generally gotten the education out there? I know you said you invest in UGC. Is it predominantly UGC, or are you guys creating all different types of content? And I know recipe content is obviously what's really going to sell here.
Yeah, recipe content is really where we invested a lot of our money into this kind of content creation. Over the last year and a half, maybe 2 years, we've invested more into UGC. But ultimately, what we really invested in way back in the day that kind of has, translated into our growth at this point in time is influencer marketing via sampling the product only. Back in the day, we didn't really have the budget to support, spending $5,000 on a post. And at that time, that might have just been like a static image, not even a real showcasing, how creamy Soom tahini might be, or, anything of that sort. So we would just send product maybe to 200 to 300 influencers a year. And their followings at the time were smaller. I mean, for instance, we worked with Dishing Out Health, Jamie Vespa. At the time, she had 30,000 followers. Now she has over 1 million followers on Instagram alone. What we did was we would find influencers who organically were already using tahini, and then we would send them products. So this way, they would swap out Soom tahini for the other tahini that they were using. And because of it being a superior ingredient, they would then talk about it because they were using it organically in their lives.
That's the best way to do it.
It really is. And I mean, we're very lucky in that they were, reluctant to either bypass us paying just to receive some product, or just, encourage that relationship with us over the years. So while I'd love to spend $10,000 on a reel that really showcases, Soom tahini, whether it's the creaminess or talking more about the versatility of the product now, it's so difficult for us to invest that kind of money into just a single post, even if it goes to millions of followers. What we really found beneficial is taking that money and using it more strategically so that we can target people who already have the intent online to then purchase tahini.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did you guys, when you guys were doing the 200 to 300 seed of influencers, did you guys discover anything that surprised you about buying habits from those videos?
There's not a huge feedback loop of data from the experience people have of being influenced by influencers to what Soom can really understand. I would say the best data that we've been able to accumulate at this point has been through brick and mortar retail, because we really have been able to see how our product performs within a category, right? And so it's been hard. It's one of the reasons why we chose not to invest too much of our capital into influencer relationships, was because the richness of the data out of it wasn't helping to inform future strategic decisions.
Interesting. What else are you guys doing? So I know that the grocery stores, that's like a huge market for you guys, but are you guys doing like ads of any kind for like the e-commerce side? Are you doing ads within Amazon? Because I know you mentioned that was something you guys invested in early on.
Sure. I do just want to highlight Instacart, because we have been utilizing Instacart predominantly for supporting our retail business. And not only do they offer, sponsored product campaigns, but also like shoppable video, shoppable display, and even like their recipe inspiration. So we're using Instacart from top of funnel through bottom of funnel because of all the different ways that we can capture new to brands. Yeah.
I noticed that recently too, because I'm in a weekly Instacarter.
Me too.
I'm pregnant and have a toddler, so the grocery store visits just are dwindling. And I will say I'm in advertising. And so I really appreciate advertising, and I try to use advertising when I buy people's products so they get the credit for it. And I'm starting to notice that Instacart is they've invested a lot in the user experience, because it's almost kind of like gamified on the platform, which makes it fun when you're just sitting there picking out your food and different things pop up, like recipes, like, oh, I wasn't planning on making this, but I like all of those ingredients and usually have them in my pantry.
Exactly. I think the discovery aspect of Instacart has been second to none. I think they use a similar platform because they do Costco's delivery, but that same experience that it's not the same, luckily, or else I would totally overspend when I'm on Instacart, like what I do when I'm, kind of indulging at the grocery store. But it is really impressive. The best thing to me about Instacart, I'm a mom of 3 kids, so I've been using Instacart really weekly, and then I'll supplement with like small trips to my local grocery stores. Although when the kids were young, I used to love walking around grocery stores with them. I don't know why. I would just like stick them in the car.
My little to the grocery store, I will say. It sometimes it does turn into an activity.
Yeah, for sure. The first thing I did with all 3 of my boys when I was ready to get out of the house was like the grocery store. One was strapped on, one was in the seat, and like one was like hanging off the side or something. It was a total zoo. But I do love excuse me?
Oh my gosh, that I can like get the visual.
Yeah. Just a total circus. But what I love about Instacart, my most frustrating thing is sometimes I will buy something at the grocery store on an end cap, and then I don't know where to find it again when I go back. Or I saw a recipe, and so I, decided to add to my ingredient list white miso or whatever. When I can't find it in the store, it derails everything. Instacart's amazing because you can see something that you want to buy. You can put it in your cart on Instacart. This is like an ad for Instacart now. And then I don't even need to know where it is in the store. There's no barrier to purchase. It's amazing.
There's no barrier. And you can, what I also love about Instacart, and then we can move back to your business, is if you like are ever wondering if a product's in stock, it's always updated.
Yes.
So you can like know before you commit to that shop on Instacart and I've even had people randomly, like I'll come across like random items. And I'm like, okay, is that at my Sprouts? And like, I'll check on Instacart to see if it's at my local Sprouts or at my local Costco. Because I'll see online these like Costco finders, and they'll highlight all these different cool new products. I'm like, how cool is that in my Costco? And I'll like literally check Instacart to see if it's there.
Yep. And instead of checking like a store locator on like a brand's website, what I'll do is I'll go to Instacart and I'll type in different zip codes and see, whether or not like not just friends, but like family in California are able to purchase it near them or not.
Yeah. Okay. So I can definitely see how that's been incredible for you guys. And I love that because I feel like it's, you guys are pretty much in like the early adopter phase of that, because I feel like it's underutilized, and I've always felt that way. as a shopper. So that's awesome. What else do you guys do to support like the e-commerce side of the business?
Or we invest heavily. About a third of our marketing dollars go into advertising on Amazon. Amazon has been one of the best new to brand and discovery platforms for us, really since the early days, but especially now since we've recently launched single units on Amazon. We noticed that there's less barrier to entry if, someone's able to purchase a single jar on Amazon where they might not be able to find tahini or some tahini, on their shelves of their local grocery store. So investing to make sure that we're in the first sponsored product seat, on Amazon has been really, really beneficial. Or even doing a lot of conquesting campaigns. So if someone might be searching for tahini and they select a different brand, we're making sure that we show up on their product display page so that, someone is more inclined to purchase Soom because of the 6,000, reviews that our premium tahini has versus maybe the, 1,200 reviews that they might have.
It honestly sounds like you guys have a really good understanding of everything that's available to you and what's going to be the most lucrative. And of course, like being in business since 2011, you've seen this marketing matrix change and shift so many times. What would you say, I guess, to wrap this up, is something that's like underutilized as a company that you guys want to do more of or experience more of, if anything?
I would say bringing it back to our chef roots and our chef partnerships. We would love to invest more into really their personalities because they have so much influence on how consumers shop. I mean, talking about that feedback loop, if, for instance, one of our chef partners, Michael Solomonov, mentions, that he uses Soom tahini, then so many people who follow Mike Solomonov go out, purchase a jar of Soom tahini, and then come back and purchase again and again. So that's something that we're really trying to invest more into in 2026. That's my take, at least. Amy, do you have any thoughts?
No, it's a really good question because we've been so specific about the way we've spent our marketing dollars. As a brand, we only allocate 5% of our gross revenue to marketing as a whole, which is a lot less than most growing brands.
Yeah.
We're very lucky in that we're in a niche category. And what's unique about tahini still is that you talk about that early adoption stage of Instagram or Instacart, but tahini as a category, as a niche product, is still in its earliest adoption stage. Very few people are discovering it on shelf. They have a much longer discovery journey until they're ready to purchase it. So we're really stroking the fire across top of funnel for the first time. We're investing a lot more into our social media content than we have for years. Middle funnel, bottom funnel, of course. But you're right. Having done this now for 12 years, we have acquired a lot of knowledge and made a lot of mistakes, or also just not mistakes, things that didn't work out for us that taught us what makes sense for us in the future. So it's been really exciting to refine that knowledge and those experiences into how Soom will perform next year, which is a lot more content, a lot more marketing than we've done for the past 10 years, really combined.
Yeah, I mean, you have like two options in the grocery store typically for like tahini. And I feel like most people are getting it off of like Amazon. So I feel like that's such a smart place for you guys to go. And then transitioning the brand from e-commerce, to like a lifestyle brand. Like it's not just tahini, but it's how you can incorporate this nutritious ingredient into things that you use every day. That is the best place to start, is with content. We are seeing such a huge rise right now with content. Again, it was pretty, content's been pretty in demand for a while now, but it went through like this phase where everyone was doing UGC and everyone was doing influencer. And I feel like that bubble's popped a bit, where people don't really we're not really getting a lot of requests for influencer partnerships. And I think it has to do with like the buyers not really wanting to buy from influencers anymore. They want to see more natural implementation of products into the marketplace, like you guys mentioned with chefs and things like that. Like, or if you are working with an influencer, something super genuine where like they're using it for 30 days, they're talking about it, and then they're making their analysis. And it just seems like it's not just like a one post and done type thing.
That's interesting.
And like creating content, we're getting, especially with like our food brands that we work with, a lot of them are focused on emotional storytelling. Like, so, you know, we have a brand that has a sauce where we do a lot of videos for them where we're incorporating like their kids in the kitchen and like just things that are like relatable to other moms in this particular example that might be cooking using their sauce. So definitely, I will say, because like as an agency, we specialize in viral content. That's literally what we do. And we specialize in just conversion-based content. We know with like the majority of the people that sign contracts with us, they're not going to stay if we're not making sales month one. So we very much understand that, and how those agencies are very much a dime a dozen. So when it comes to creating things, like we at least as an agency, you can't really afford to like test. You know, you really have to know the market and what the market wants at any given moment for like your particular buyer. And for you guys, I can see that being very successful next year as you guys are stepping into this even bigger, broader journey of expanding your guys' content creation and expanding, you know, working with chefs again and things like that. I think that's such a good idea. And it goes back to like Baked by Melissa. I like watch her stuff religiously. And I truly feel like I know her. And in the way she talks like about, she very, 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 very rarely, you can tell, she'll rarely take on a sponsored post.
Right.
And it's normally like very natural, but she'll just throw up, like you'll notice everything she uses in her videos it's been the same for like the past 5 years. It's the same tahini. It's the same lemon squeezer. It's the same. It's like she likes OXO with the brand of, you know, like it's the same stuff. So people want to see like stuff like that when you're using your product. And it's harder to do, right? Because you have to invest in a long-term partnership and a long-term relationship with, in your case, chefs, but it's worth it because you know off the top of your head, you think of this person and it's like right away you trust it.
Right.
And so it's a long-term play that ends up, like you said, Julie, that you know that they'll buy it time and time again because it's consistently used. It's consistently talked about. Not even like, you know, hey, this is Soom tahini, but like, okay, we're going with the tahini. They see it's the same exact jar every single time, you know? So I love that idea for you guys. What else, I guess, to close things out, is something excited that you're looking forward to either with the holiday season or maybe next year? Any new launches or anything like that?
We are launching pretty strategically through our brick and mortar channel moving forward. And so while it will be accompanied by placement on our third-party e-commerce site partners like Thrive Market and Misfit Market, and of course on Amazon, our primary data point for the success of our product is really on the shelf. So we do have some new products coming out. That is something that I think inspired this idea of new content, because we've been making content with tahini for 12 years, and we're very excited to be able to make content with a new product for our customers moving forward. So we do have a few new things on the horizon, and very excited to see that play out across our channels. Nervous too.
That's exciting. When can we see, like, when is a launch happening?
It's a good question. TBD.
Okay, TBD. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's so exciting. All right, my last question. I know I said like to wrap this up 3 times now, but this is just so, you guys are so interesting. You said co-founder. So who's your counterpart?
Yeah, so I founded this sister with my two older sisters, and they're no longer in the day-to-day. We have an amazing team, Julie and our other colleagues, that's been driving our growth really for the past 5 years. The company shifted so tremendously during COVID, obviously really decelerating our restaurant sales and accelerating our consumer sales, primarily on Amazon and the few grocery stores that we're in. And so the big news for Soom is that when we launched in Whole Foods nationally in 2022, it was after 8 years of being in business. It put us in 500 doors. And this year, we're finishing the year in over 5,500 doors. So our real growth, our real brand growth has come in the past 3 years on top of the decade before that.
I love that. I'm so excited for you guys. I'm excited to see you guys grow. And thank you just so much for all of the knowledge and the relatable knowledge at that and wisdom. And I hope you guys, I'm just excited to see what's to come.
Our pleasure. Thank you.